So, back for the team builder for the semi-finals of the XDL. So, into the top four, almost there, just two to go, And so we're going to be facing Viz and the Antarctic Aegislashes for this one. So, definitely a very, very scary team to go up against. But I think I should have the tools for it. So, going to start off in alphabetical order as normal, even though Weavile is probably the main member, but save the best to last, maybe. So, Articuno, this time I'm going pretty fast on the Articuno because PZ is a huge threat. It does a lot of damage. I want to stop it from doing a lot of damage. So if I outspeed and get the light screen up first, then I should be okay to deal with the PZ. So I got both forms of speed control on this Articuno. One of the nice things it did have over the Cresselia that I did initially trade it for was that it had access to Tailwind as well as Trick Room. So I tried to treat it as a Cresselia that could do more things effectively. So if I need to go fast, I can just go with the Tailwind. If they manage to speed control with like some Icy Winds and stuff, maybe the Pikachu gets some paralysis going with the Volt Crash, then I can just Trick Room instead. So got both of those forms of speed control. There's, one Flying Resist on the team, and that's Bishop. So Articuno's not really taking on Bishop anyway, but yeah, like Weakness Policy would be nice to get activated if it does attack me. If they just get an Icy Wind off at some point, then the Weakness Policy activates. Like, generally, it's a good idea to have a Weakness Policy somewhere in draft, and I couldn't really think of an item for Articuno, so it was more of a might as well kind of thing. So, it could be something like a Colbur Berry or a Cassie Berry for the Gengar as well. I definitely could change it, but the match is shortly, so maybe I won't. We will see. But yeah, pretty much max speed so I can outspeed the PZ and get the light screen off, max HP, and then just dump special attack. It's pretty basic otherwise. Dragonite is an alternative mode. I'm not expecting to bring Dragonite to the first match at least, but it's got the potential with the Togepi. I don't want Life Orb, even though there's no Life Orb on my team, and I definitely could Life Orb Dragonite. I don't want to break my own multi-scale, so I've gone for Sharp Beak instead. Like I said, there's one Flying Resist. I'll just max Quake it if it's the Bishop, and then otherwise I'm Airstreaming, so should be fine to just go with the Sharp Beak there. I should also mention as well the Articuno, that that's a specific IV for the Articuno that I'm going to go for. And like with this Dragonite, the attack investment doesn't hit an offensive calc, but I wanted 220 attack EVs. So you may be able to work out what's coming, but that's a specific reason. It wasn't for a specific KO, just most amount of damage, but also specific. And it did outspeed something that was on the team, because I think it was at +1. Maybe I outspeed something. The Alakazam, possibly. But yeah, the speed definitely did something. And again, made these EV spreads like days ago, so I've forgotten what it does, but I know the attack did something in the dumped HP. As that was just dumped HP as well, but pretty basic. Could go Togepi and Dragonite and just Dragon Dance up, potentially, and then just start Airstreaming at that point, but pretty basic. Second plan if the first one goes horribly. Kartana is planned to be brought to this matchup. Kartana is looking amazing when there's no fire type on the team, and if I can control things like a flamethrower from the Slurpuff, or the mystical fires that can come from Indeedee, then Kartana is looking amazing. Only Conkeldurr would really threaten it. That's why I've still got Aerial Ace on this Kartana. I am expecting to max it. And yeah, I've got the Misty Seed on here as like a pseudo Assault Vest, because the Assault Vest is taken. And Substitute is going to be very nice in dealing with the Ditto, potentially. So if I'm not maxing the Kartana, I could get a Substitute up before the Ditto comes in, then they wouldn't be able to copy me at all. So if I do Dynamax, I will lose the Substitute, but Substitute is mainly there as a Ditto counter, because if I start steamrolling with my Kartana, and then they just come in and get their own Kartana, they will reverse steamroll me. So having a little bit of a countermeasure against the Ditto there. Just in case, didn't feel I needed Smart Strike. Leaf Blade does more than enough to the Slurpuff, especially as a max overgrowth, so I don't really need the Smart Strike. Some Steel Spike boosts could be nice against the Dracovish and the Conkeldurr as well, I guess, but felt like it was fine dropping the coverage there. Outspeeds the Landorus Eye. Hits a specific attack stat once again, and it wasn't a specific KO something, but again, specific attack stat, and then the rest into special defense to make use of the Misty Seed. Tapu Fini is going to be pretty basic, but I've got Icy Wind over the Water Move potential, because there's one thing Well, Gengar as well, I guess, that would resist the... No, it is just Gengar, isn't it? Only Gengar resists the Moonblast, from what I can see. Yeah, so Moonblast is fine. Icy Winds, where water would have been super effective against Landorus, Icy Wind is as well, and then Speed Control is nice. So, pretty basic otherwise. It's able to live a PZ Max Strike, Life Orb, off of Hyper Beam, even without any of the special defense, like things like Light Screen. And we'll get to the other thing in a minute. So, very basic. Outspeeds, Landorus, if they're at -1. So, yeah, just lots of special defense, then the rest just dumped into special attack. Pretty basic, but somewhat necessary to bring for the Kartana to get the Misty Seed going. Can counteract the Psychic Drain that the Indeedee could set, so I can put a stop to the damage output that the Expanding Forces can go for, because the Tapu Fini should really dissuade the Alakazam, because I can just put a stop to the Expanding Forces. Alakazam is like one of the only things that outspeeds the Kartana, and the Gengar should be dealt with quickly. I'm getting to that shortly, but Togepi is first. So Togepi cannot survive the PZ at all, but it can survive the Gengar Sludge Bomb and the Bisharp Iron Head, which is not too bad, and I feel like justifiably having Eviolite over Focus Sash. So Follow Me Helping Ant is pretty standard. Mystical Fire, there's a lot of special attackers on the team. Just one Mystical Fire definitely could help out with that. So, yeah, and then just Protect, because didn't feel like I needed much else. I am going max attack IVs into this Togepi. So, you probably, hopefully guessed it by now, I've got Beat Up on this Weavile. So, if you didn't know how Beat Up worked, it takes... Assuming I've got all 4 Pokemon, like for the sake of it, I'll say I've got all 4 Pokemon. It will take the actual attack stat of all 4 of those Pokemon, and for the individual attack, you divide it by 10, and then you add 5 to it. So, in the case of Weavile, it's got 170, so it gets 17 plus 5 is 22. So Weavile's Beat Up is 22 power. Tapu Fini's would be 13, because you divide the 80 by 10 to get 8, and then add 5. If I had 17 IVs, or if I had 0, let's say, then the Beat Up power of that hit would be 12. So just by having the extra IVs into the attacks here, then I'll be able to get slightly stronger beat-ups on the Weavile, and they do seem to be quite crucial. Gengar is going to drop. Indeedee can drop if it is just 252 HP. If it's defensive at all, and the EV spreads that this has tended to go for have been like 252s everywhere, so if the Indeedee's coming, I'm expecting either just max special attack or max one of the defenses. So if it's max special attack, Weavile could OHKO it even if it's a Focus Sash Indeedee. Weavile OHKO's Focus Sash Gengar. So that should be really nice in opening up a lot of my options. Take away some of the support. The Gengar won't be able to Icy Wind. The Indeedee won't be able to follow me anymore. So the beat up could be really nice and really clutch there. And with the attacks that I have, even if I bring, I'm planning on bringing Articuno Weavile as the first lead with Kartana Tapu Fini in the back. What did it end up being? I think it was 74 base power. Like, technically not. Like, if you just put 74 base power into the damage calculator, it was a 75% chance to OHKO Indeedee, I think. But when you factor in the individual, 22, 13, 26, and 14, each 4 of those individual hits has a 99.9% chance of OHKOing max HP Indeedee. So I'm pretty confident with that calc. And if they have defensive EVs, it's going to be a lot and easily enough to survive, and I wouldn't be able to change that without something like a Life Orb. And I think the Assault Vest is going to be pretty good, especially since against something like PZ, I can just go for Snarl Light Screen. With the Assault Vest, I'm taking the Max Strikes. So should be somewhat okay in that regard. And yeah, pretty much max attack with the bump. We did originally have 168, but then just wanted that extra 1 base power of beat up, because why not? And then I'm able to take an Adamant Scarf Dracovish, and I outspeed, because I outspeed the Adamant Scarf Dracovish, it will be just normal power. I get OHKO'd to the Jolly Scarf Dracovish, which it definitely should be, so it outspeeds my Weavile, but then it's a Jolly one and slightly weaker. And then I can take it on a bit better, even if I lose my Weavile on turn 1. Which I'm hoping won't happen, because it's supposed to take out one of their Pokemon turn 1, whether that's the Gengar or the Indeedee, but we will see. But, yeah, no Fake Out on this Weavile, because Indeedee is on the team, so I'm not going to bother with the priority attacks. Brick Breakers to hit the Bisharp. Icy Wind and Snarl is some good control, the speed control, matching Icy Winds. Snarl is there mainly for the PC, but there is a reasonable amount of special attackers on the team, so Snarl can definitely be made use of. Did consider going for a nice move like Ice Punch, Icicle Spear, one of those. Definitely not Triple Axle, I don't trust it without Wide Lens, and I wanted AV to hit the Landorus Eye, but I can still Icy Wind it. Won't do too much with a 45 base special attack. I can Snarl it, so it won't be doing too much, and Beat Up is at like 74 base power, that's not terrible, so slight disrespect to the Landorus Eye, because the Weavile couldn't easily deal with it, but maybe hopefully the fact that there's just a Weavile on the field will scare that Landorus Eye enough so that I don't need to powerful Ice move it. Hopefully. I'm going to lose that.